Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Note Closure Show. As always, jacked up, excited to be here today. I've been getting a lot of investors reaching out about foreclosures and people that have low interest rates that don't necessarily want to sell their house. They don't know what to do. Maybe they can't afford it. Well, I've got the answers for you today. We have got a very special guest, somebody who we love having on the show, who is just a phenomenal individual, first and foremost, but has a huge heart in helping investors succeed. And this is a guy that over gives and over delivers with all of his stuff. He's got an amazing team up out of the Boston, Newport, Rhode Island area. He is wicked smart. The man, the myth, Mr. Chris Prefontaine, join us here on the Note Closure Show. What's going on, Chris? How you doing this morning?
Hey, buddy. Good to see you. You are getting just a touch better on the Boston accent. I like it.
You know, I'm really trying wicked hard to get it going now. Maybe if I have some more lobster and a Samuel Adams, I'll be
After
good to
this
go.
next event with us, you'll be just fine-tuned.
Exactly. I'll buy the wicked hard, wicked smart T-shirt at the Boston airport this time around for sure.
I'll give it to you.
There you go. What's going on, man? How's it's a crazy world out there. A lot of opportunities in today's world, huh?
Yeah, especially if they stop listening to the media, right? Because everybody, if you listen to them, you got to wait till after the election. You can't make any decisions to do anything. You can't buy you can't buy an egg. You can't go to an event. You can't do anything.
Exactly. Don't do anything. Wait, we'll solve it all. It's not our issues, but we've been, it's just, we'll avoid the politics.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get an opinion.
Yeah, exactly. But one of the great things that I love about what you do is you really work with a lot of people. You've got, a couple decades of business. I don't want to take away any of your thunder because I know you got some slides and some stuff, but there's only a few events that I look to attend that I think are must-attend events across the country. And your event that you're hosting here in a couple of weeks that we'll talk about today is one of the most impactful and must-attend events if you're looking to be a real estate investor in today's market. And your approach to it really overcomes I don't have money, or I don't have a lot of experience, a lot of the bullshit excuses that people tell themselves to find success in real estate. And so, yeah, I'm glad to have you back on. When you reached out, told me I got an upcoming class, like, we got to have you back on to share what you're teaching with everybody out there, because the aspect of what you teach and the note side really go hand in hand in a lot of cases.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. And I love that if you can make it, I think you're going to try to be there. I love hanging out with you and giving your community the exposure it deserves.
Awesome. Well, I know you've got some slides to dive into it to help folks understand what we're going to be diving in today. And so why don't you bring that up and we'll get rock and rolling and share these folks some smart strategies.
Yeah, and as usual, Scott, I love hanging out with you because you will interrupt and we'll ad lib and just fire away. Like, if you know me, if not, New England style, blow through it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So guys, what we're going to do, I'm going to play a quick video here in like a minute, and some of you won't have sound. It's okay. I just want to give you a sense for who we are, and the words tell it. We are going to dive into creating 3 paydays without using your credit, without using banks. And you're going to find out why, because of how badly I got beat up. So let's do the video real briefly here, and then Scott and I will dive into it.
Man, I want to get out in a drum line, like in a Friday night high school football game with that drum going in the background there.
Well, got to get the energy going, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly.
So, Scott, what's interesting is I don't know if it's the economy, but I'm getting a lot of questions lately going, yeah, but you guys do this, but you have to get out of all your deals short term. So I want to talk to you today about how to do this and actually build a portfolio if you choose to. Everybody's at a different point when they come to the Wicked Smart community. So whatever it is for you, hey, I want to get out of these and get some cash going. Great. I want to do this 20-year portfolio. Great. It doesn't matter. And we'll show you how to do that without dealing with the lovely banks, without credit checks, without personal guarantees. and borrow money anywhere, frankly. And while doing that, create the 3 paydays that we've trademarked. And I'm going to walk you through the paydays in actual metrics and then actual deals. We'll give you a sample of each kind of deal and how we buy. Quick background here. I have been at this, Scott. I didn't tell you, this month is 33 years.
Wow.
33 freaking years. So I just dated myself, but it's been a while. I've been through 2 awful cycles. And the second one, I said, okay, and it was 08. I said, all right, I got to fix this or don't go back in business. And so I re-engineered everything to exactly what you're going to see today. It was painful then, but it was the impetus to everything we do today. So I'm very thankful for it now. I will ask you, I don't care if you've seen this and you go, hey, I was 10 years old then or whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact is, I'd like you to think about if you're prepared to handle the market cycles and generally speaking, for the next 2 decades. And what Scott and I just said, we got a weird time right now, right? And it's not like it's the only time it's going to be weird. It's chaos. It's unpredictable. And I want you to be able to be positioned properly because, frankly, when you get to the point and you understand how Scott's world and our world operate and interact, you are going to be so comfortable when the wackos get on TV telling you, don't do this, don't do that. You go, no, I got it. I'm comfortable. I know exactly how to pivot. That's where we want you to be. And you don't have to look far out to know that owner financing in particular, one of the 3 ways we buy, is super, I won't say mainstream, but it went from like in the 90s, maybe 2 or 3% of the transactions, nationally being done outside of banks to, I don't know, Scott, I can't find a hard stat to be honest with you, but I would gather that it's up in the teens now. There's a lot of transactions outside of banks, right? It's your whole world.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the aspect of it. I think it's probably closer to 10 to 15% on the residential side,
Yeah,
especially with where the rate's been. But on the commercial lending side, it's actually a lot more prevalent on commercial real estate than it is on residential stuff. But it's
crazy.
still, when rates are all high and things like that, it's definitely an opportunity for folks to utilize a way to sell or to buy property, that the traditional banks don't go that route, which leaves a lot of opportunity for us.
Yeah, we're going to show you guys. Stay tuned. We're going to show you how to buy between 0% and 5% right now when the rates are high. So when I went through the crash, one of the re-engineering points I made, I said, I got to make some rules here. One was I'm not doing business the old way, which was, I already told you, signing personally and all that, but not getting 1 paycheck per deal. So I used to build homes. Great. Did a lot of homes, made good money, but it was 1 home, 1 check, right? So every January I'd get in the saddle, do my year goals and go, I gotta like do it again. And I just started getting burnt out from that. The new way that we trademarked is doing the 3 paydays. We're going to outline exactly what that means. And I just want to touch everyone here that sees this in Scott's community. So I hope this hits everyone, but look, here's what we see. Hey, Chris, I'm a doctor, I'm an attorney. We have people that go, I'm not going anywhere right now as far as my job, but I want to get some supplemental income because our deals range in the range of 45 grand to 350 grand, all 3 paydays. They're not small deals. So the attorney who has a trust practice in Arizona said, Chris, 1 or 2, I'm good. Just show me how to do this. And then I'll see if I want to do more. Most people, however, come to me and go, I want a replacement income. All of our coaches, not coincidentally, have come into the community with no experience and have left their jobs between 9 and 26 months. Every one of them.
Wow.
And it's because, Scott, you see this, you have different students, like some say, I'm super conservative, I need this much in the bank. And some say, hey, just get me so I can see like the 3 paydays work and I'm out of here. Just depends, but we can get you there predictably. Others, I hope some of you watching this go, yeah, I'm all set. I get my bills covered. I want to plow some money into my self-directed IRA or other. And then here's the big thing. If I can show you over the next whatever, several months, tonight we'll wet your whistle, today we'll wet your whistle, how to buy your own home only over the next whatever, 7 years, even 1 year, 2 years, 7 years, that's a win, guys, because there's a skill set here that nobody can take from you. Zach, my son-in-law and partner, who Scott spent time with, he and Kayla joined me, my daughter, in 15, I think it was 2015. They weren't bankable because they left the bartending and personal training business where they were making good money, but their lifestyle was awful. They came in with me. That's a new business change. No bank's going to finance them for at least a couple of years. They call it seasoning. So they had to do a lease purchase. They exited that lease purchase in under 3 years for like 116 grand net. Well, that's a cool thing. They weren't even bankable. They got a nice $500,000 home and exited it. So if that's all you do out of this, it's really cool. I already kind of alluded to this. Creative financing, or real estate on your terms, what I call it, is no banks, no down payments, no signing. You guys will all get, because you're with Scott, you'll all get the book at the end. If you don't have it, I'll give you a link. You can go get the free book and some other free resources. The 3 ways we buy, and then we'll break down the deals. 1, owner financing. as we talked about earlier. Subject to means I'm buying someone's home, the loan's staying in their name. I'm not assuming the loan. I'm paying it on their behalf, but I own their house. And then lease purchase. Lease purchase tends to be where the new people love to go because it's like a little bit more warm and fuzzy. The deal's not transferring title, and you tie it up for a whopping $10. Our agreements, which you'll have your hands on, all of them, the lease purchase has a $10 deposit built in. No brainer. And so people tend to do that when they're brand new. But you'll see that it's better to own these properties. The community with the coaches, myself, my son, and my son-in-law, we're approaching 75 years at the end of this year of experience. So because of that, I can take, Scott, I know you've been through this where you and I have taken so many courses over the years. There was frustration on my end where I'd take a course or go to a seminar and go, yeah, I mean, they showed me all the warm and fluffy, but what really happens here? And we really wasn't making progress. So we're on a mission. We just had our offsite last week as a company. We obsess over how can we bridge this gap of the time when someone sees a seminar or takes a course and they do a deal. And sadly, some people doesn't happen until they meet us, frankly. I get so many people on a weekly basis to tell me that. So that's what we're all about, getting you to a deal as quickly as possible. But like me, you might have baggage. Like I had baggage after the crash. I had 4 years of being a head case going, I can't do this. Well, that was just mental. So I had baggage. I know some of you have baggage. Some of you do a deal in 30 days. Some will take 15 months, but they're lucrative enough that either one of those is great. It doesn't matter what time of year we're talking about this kind of material, Scott and I and people in our community. I will always only talk about stuff I do. We do it as a family every day. My son's in the next room closing a buyer deal, payday one, Scott, for a brand new student. That's cool.
Nice.
This is all we
awesome.
do. Yeah. And I mean, I can literally hear him. I said, it's the same time as the workshop. He said, yeah, I'm in there closing the deal. What is owner financing to us? Because it's been around since before banking. I mean, Scott, this is your world too.
Right.
The seller becomes your bank, but in our world, we look for free and clear properties, guys. So about a third, roughly, of the properties residentially in the United States are free and clear. I don't know the stat commercially, but there are plenty of ponds sufficient for these free and clear properties. And you sort of start to gain the leverage. And let me give you a quick example. During COVID, I had about 72 residential properties. Now, if I was a landlord, I'd probably be bumming. But because I own or finance or had control of these, one of the other two ways I talked about, the 4 headaches I had out of 72, that's not bad. The 4 headaches I had with buyers not being able to perform, I just called the seller and renegotiated. They don't want their house back. I'm not signed personally. I don't want to say I don't care, but in that case, I had the leverage. Okay. So you kind of eliminate all those traditional barriers. What is sub 2? Real briefly, for those of you that don't know, and for those of you that are more experienced, I'm zooming in and out just to make sure I capture everybody. The mortgage stays in the seller's name. Title does transfer to your LLC or your trust, whatever you do, and you make payments on their behalf until you cash it out. Who's more likely to do this versus the free and clear? Not always, but people that are stressed out, they need kind of a financial fix. Not always, but probably 95% of them. I'll give you a deal today. We're going to show you a case study. They were divorced. They were arguing. They were in arrears. You know, that's typical of a sub 2 going, just take my house. And that, by the way, that deal I'm talking about had a 2.6% interest rate. Pretty cool. Look at these rates. Scott, you know these numbers well. We can even update these, but almost 92% of homes below 6%, 4 out of 5 below 5, and so on. That's why I said we can show you where to find these, where to find the free and clear for 0% interest, and then what to say to them, and then how to convert them to the 3 paydays. Lease purchase behaves very similar to the sub 2, just that no mortgage, no title transfers. That's it. And instead of owning it, you control it. We show you how to cloud title. We use a notice of option. California might use a real estate memorandum. Doesn't matter. We show you how to cloud the title. Now, how are you going to find these guys? We have a simple service. It's not brain science. It'll feed you on a daily basis through a portal, all the expireds, all the for sale by owner, all the for rent by owner, and then some niche lists. Niche would be Sally's a new student. She goes through the expireds for sale by owner, for rent by owner. I'm just like, my goals are more aggressive. I want to get more deals. Okay. So we might do free and clear. We might fish in that pond. We might do absentee owners in your town. So they might not be their first home. They're out of state, and free and clear. You can parlay you can go on and on with the niche list.
What I love about it is our niche list that we get from banks on the troubled borrowers too make ideal potential sub 2 deals where we can't buy that note at a price that makes sense. We can often reach out to the borrower and turn them into subject 2 deals as well. So it's a niche list that we've been using for a while that works well with this strategy.
Yeah, and every time we hang out, Scott, I know we text each other from time to time, but every time we hang out, I get more and more ideas of how the two communities can do deals together. So every time we hang out, like at an event or something, like bingo, we got to do more of that. So you and I got to do more of that. Side note. Lately, the wholesalers and the flippers have been coming out of the woodwork. I think it's because the margins are tightening, frankly, and the competition is way, way up in their world. And they're one paydays, guys. Let's face it. And I have good friends that are on my show that have done this and made millions. So I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying they're one paydays. And wholesalers are throwing leads away. We have one in our community. There's 3 guys in Michigan, Scott. They're wholesalers. So I said to him, Chris, how many leads do you get? He said 600 a month. I said, how many deals you do? He said 6 to 10, which is really good as a wholesaler. But what do you do with all the other leads? So he's starting to feed those to me in Slack because he's in our community now, and we're converting them together to 3 paydays. He was throwing away. It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
So you can get those as well for referrals. Why do they sell to you? I kind of alluded to a few reasons, but you got maximizing price. I don't care about price if I'm paying principal pay down. If I'm buying Scott's home, say I'm paying it $4,000 more than it's worth, and I'm paying him $1,000 monthly principal payments. In 4 months, it's covered. And I didn't pay it. My buyer who was in the home, my tenant buyer, did anyway. So that's what I mean by I don't really care. I just want the term to be long enough to eat up that principal. Some of them just want to create cash flow, and others do it for cash flow and estate planning reasons. I bought my office building, which I'll show you a picture of here. We sold it. Scott, you were in the room. We sold it the week you were in the room last year, and I'll show you a picture of that and the HUD on that. Because this guy was, I'll say wealthy, largest landowner in the area, free and clear, just wanted it for estate and tax planning, didn't want to pay all the taxes up front. Very simple. So really what we're doing, I could keep going with the stories, is we're either 1, solving a problem, right? Or 2, they're free and clear and we're helping them accomplish a goal they couldn't otherwise accomplish in the conventional market. This guy told me, who did the building, Scott, he said, Chris, I have a 4x8 sign out there. He's pointing out, this was a busy street where I bought the building. He said, it says for sale by owner, owner financing on it. Realtors come in with offers. And he says, I don't want a cash offer. They don't get it. He said, it took us 10 minutes to structure this commercial deal. 10. That's it. Why? He was experienced and he knew what he wanted.
Exactly.
One way we sell. Now, there's advanced stuff. We'll get into it at the event and more of the advanced coaching. But primarily, I'm going to start you guys off thinking we deal with a rent-to-own world where we're actually setting the buyer up to win. What is rent-to-own? Nothing more than a program to help these buyers who need time, as I alluded to my daughter and son-in-law earlier, to become mortgage ready. That's it. And what's the pool look like? Scott, we have a guy, Raphael. He's in Miami. He writes like 100+ loans a year. And I said, just give me a rough idea. Out of 100 applicants, and whatever time frame you get that, because he gets a lot more than 100 if he's converting 100. How many of those are qualified? He said 17 to 18 right now. That's it. Now, that doesn't mean they all need 2 or 3 years for our program, but there's a batch of them that fit out of that 82% very well in our world for the rent to own. It's just a matter of getting the systems with my son, Nick, who's specialized in this for the community, so that you're not dealing with 82% of the calls. You're dealing with an automated system that then puts the cream to the top of those that truly are deserved buyers, not renters who have had credit problems for 43 years, right? You want the true buyers that just need a little time.
Yep.
Who are they? Self-employed. I alluded to some of these: credit, job change, new business, etc. Why do they need you? This is an interesting market too. I guess you could do this in any market, but right now prices are still strong in a lot of markets, right? We'll see what happens in the next few months, but these buyers need time to improve their credit, or time for seasoning, as we said, or time to increase their down payment. Picture my daughter and son-in-law, again, Zach, they were looking for homes when it was 3.5%, and they had to relocate from Rhode Island to Mass. By the time they were done looking, they hadn't reached a peak of like 7 yet, but it was like approaching 6. Well, that changed their whole deal, where they're going to look, what neighborhood. What we can do now is they can pick the same neighborhood. If we have a house there, they can, over time, they can lock the price in, and over time save more and get that payment back down. So they're not so disheartened with what's going on in the market. Now, how do you profit? I said I'd outline the 3 paydays. Then we're going to leave time, because Scott, you always have some cool questions that you know your community wants to hear. How do you profit? The 3 paydays work like this. Remember, a deserved buyer who thinks they're going to buy, but they need time. Deposit. They have a deposit. It's non-refundable. Payday 2, you're paying something to the owner or to their underlying debt, and you're collecting something more than that from the tenant buyer, and that delta is yours. And then payday 3 is you mark that property up, and the key is the principal pay down throughout the whole term. Very key. That's where a lot of the money, you'll see that in the numbers when I show you. Here's our family numbers. We're kind of on the lower end. As I said earlier, the community runs from like 45 grand low to a high of 350. Hit a new high, Scott, in February. We did a deal in Delaware. It was actually our deal. We took it over from a student. Our payday 3 cash out was like 329. So the whole deal was over 350. It was a record, because I was saying 250 years ago. So It's a new high. Now the whole community's looking for that new, okay, I got to hit that 350. I think this tells you guys a little bit about the quality of income versus the one payday deals. Here's why I say that. This is a 12-month snapshot of our family deals. Now, I am not saying, disclosure, that this is your first 12 months. No, I don't know how aggressive you're going to be, but this was, I've got some experience. My son and Zach, we were all working this. So we did a 12-month look back about a year or two ago. This was, I don't know what it was, 22-ish deals. The payday 1s and 3s are impressive because in that 12 months, that was newly created. That's why, think about that. You put that on a chart, you now have all these paydays coming in different dates. But I think the more impressive thing is, and Scott, you probably know the number off the top of your head. I don't know. I should run it. What it would take passively in a bank to kick out $6,459. Is it a few million? I depend on today's rates. I don't know, but
Well, if you figured that we got a 5.5% interest rates
yeah,
on like savings accounts or a certificate of disappointments in a lot of cases, so we just said 6,500 divided by 0.05. You need to have $130,000 in there, making 5% on an annual basis to get that $6,500 right now.
okay, so 5% is 50. Yeah. So could you the next 12 months, some of you can sock that 130 away. I don't know, but I know for certain that I can show you how to do, whether you divide that by 12 or whatever you want to do for math, scale it up, scale it down. I can show you how to do it. I can show you how to create the 3 paydays. So just think about that for a second. That's all I want you guys to think about. Different quality of income. So Scott, I remember after really being hammered, I was broke. I was in a 1-bedroom apartment with Kim in Newport. And I came home one night. It was like a big aha. It was 13 fall. I remember like it was yesterday. I had finished my first 13 deals. And when I put this all on the spreadsheet, it was like 1.2. It wasn't quite as high as this one. And I said to her, I get it now. Like I totally get what I accidentally created because the payday 3s are all staggered. The payday 1s, some of them are staggered. That created a different lifestyle for us. You can get up to treadmill if you want. Now we chose the scale, but you can get up to treadmill if you want and chill out. Just a different quality than I was used to. Just to kind of, I'm going to run through this quickly. These are some of the coaches and some of the different students around the country. So you don't go, well, I wonder if my market and my price and me and that, blah, blah. It works, and it works everywhere. So Mike's in Northern California. He's about the same average, about 82 grand. Rick's right in New Hampshire, but he kicks our butt, even though he's 2 hours away from me, because he did owner financing his first 4 deals, 109 grand average. So the joke in the community, I think he cashed one out recently, it was like 92. And they're like, Rick, what happened? You went under 6 figures. I think you met him for sure at the conference, Scott. He coaches now, and you guys can have access to him. He's amazing what he's done. And he worked for the government for 30 years, had 20 or 30 employees, and came with us in May of 23, full time. No experience prior to this, except for he stumbled and tried to wholesale and wasn't successful working his government job. It's too hard. Brian's in Chicago, very similar. Just so you guys know, different areas of the country, doesn't really matter. He was an elevator salesman, no joke. And he did, 9 months worth of work and had 8 deals. That's 14 there now, but 8 deals totaling like 828 grand, all from a $10 deposit with the lease purchase. That's how he started his journey. Amazing. So let's do one of each, Scott. I'll do owner financing, sub 2, and lease purchase. And I'll do this one a little bit more detailed. The other 2 I'm going to fly through just because it doesn't matter how we buy. The exit's the same way. The 3 paydays work the same way. And it's not that I want you guys all to go, yeah, I totally get the math. Not really. I just want you to see how they behave. And we can teach you the details. So we got this from an expired listing. Sadly, this gentleman lost a twin son, passed away. And this is their second home. Free and clear. Just had it with the market, and winter was coming. Actually, my son-in-law found this, but then I went and met him. We bought it for $399. What were they asking? $399. See how we can just give them their price. We're not lowballing. We structured a 48-month deal. You'll see the magic of this owner financing here. We sold it for $429. That was the value there. Deposit from a buyer, 40 up front, 40 over time. Sometimes these people have we had a state trooper. He had retroactive sergeant pays. Like, oh, Chris, I know I'm getting this. I'll give you 50% of it on these dates. Some people do tax returns. There were times when in February and March, we had $250,000 scheduled in payday 1s. I mean, that's how many you can parlay these pretty quickly. So that's payday 1. Payday 2, we were paying them $1,000 a month principal. We were getting 17. There was an insurance figure in there, disclosure, but just rough numbers here, 30-something grand. And then payday 3, we marked it up, 30 grand, right? Simple. Principal paid on. There's the magic. If that was a conventional loan, which you'll see on the other 2 deals, that's pounding principal down. There's the magic. You got to give them credit for their deposit. Just like if Scott and I bought a home tomorrow, we put a down payment on the settlement statement and show the credit. Well, this buyer gets credit even though they gave it, 4 years ago. And then that was a -2 payday because we got so much up front. Thank you very much for paying all our profit up front. We did have rent on this though. From this view where we're looking at the house, there was a garage, and above it, when the guy left, because he just wanted out of there, like I said, with that loss, he said, Chris, this guy's been renting from me, and he rented from the lady I inherited from. It was his aunt. Could you keep him in there? So we kept him in there, and then we let this tenant buyer inherit him after he performed and closed on the house. It's pretty cool. But our
Nice.
profit was over 100.
Very
So
nice.
here's the metrics for owner financing. If you write these down, guys, 3 metrics, very simple. In your marketplace, once we show you how to find free and clear, if you can find in your area $200,000 or higher price range, I know most of you can, and you structure at least a 4-year deal or more, most of you can, and you structure monthly payment of say $950 or higher principal only, you have a 6-figure deal every time. 6-figure deal. I'm not saying you're going to find 2 or 3 of these a month. I am saying you can find a handful of these per year, and I think for most people that 6 figures would change the world. That's how Rick did his journey so quickly. Yeah, I show this because I'm the opposite of most educators. Like, they'll show you all the fluffy deals. I was telling Scott about that new record we set. I show you like 3 of those big ones. Instead, I gave you our average. It's only like 75 total. This is a payday 3 from, let's see, last fall after the event. And if you notice bottom left, it's like 70, almost 78 grand. Those anomalies happen, right? But our averaged all paydays, not just payday 3, are closer to 75. But that's a nice one right there. It's just a payday 3. All right, lease purchase. Again, I'm going to zip pretty quickly in the paydays, but I'll show you how we got it and why. This came from referral from an agent. Now, why on earth would the agent not want to learn this? I don't know, but I'm happy with, like, this guy's name is Dale. He sends us 1 to 6 deals a year. If you're a realtor, you can either learn this and be a hero and be the authority in your marketplace, or you can still be a hero by saying, hey, I didn't sell it, but I'm networked. I have a very big network, and I have people that'll buy this. And you can save them. This guy was going to just, I don't know what he's going to do. He's a vet, and he was going to leave the area for military orders. And I don't know if he would have just rented this and it could have become a headache. We bought it for $283 balance on the mortgage through a lease purchase, though. We didn't have to close on it. We did a 36-month term, and we sold it for $329.9. Here's how the paydays looked. Payday 2 in particular, I want you to pay attention to because it's not as much principal. There's an underlying mortgage in place here. Deposit from the buyer, all up front, good one. Payday 2, the payment on that was $1,818, but it was principal, interest, taxes, insurance, PITI. So smaller principal pay down, but nice spread there. Payday 2. Payday 3, look at the principal pay down. Not as heavy as the owner financing. Still really strong. Payday 3 is 38 grand still. This is a nice little kind of mix on this one, actually, and a little over our average on that one. Now,
let me bring this up here, just a little clarification. So basically, you bought this on a lease purchase. You then marketed it for an end buyer to come in for 36 months. And that's what the payday 1, payday 2, payday 3 is coming from your buyers, not you. It's your buyer basically paying you a upcharge where you're basically selling it to them, and then they cash out of the deal in 36 months, or you cash out, refinance the deal, sell the deal to them in 36 months.
Yeah, 100%. So what do they do during that 36 months? I'll say 2 things you reminded me of. One is we do not, and you do not have to, until you get more experience and you find a great deal, maybe you have to act, but you do not have to close on these or start the lease purchase until such time you have your buyer. Key. So don't worry about that. There is no risk. We took it away. I won't say no risk. The buyer could get hit by a car tomorrow, right? But I'm just saying, to get into this deal, you can make a contingent upon a buyer. Secondly, what do they do during the 36 months? We do not put them in the house until such time they get pre-qualified by our third party. We have nothing to do with it. We want the debt to income to be signed off on. We want their plan to be signed off on. So if they run their credit cards up and go buy a Lamborghini, they don't go, oh, these guys told me I could buy it, now I can't. No, you signed off on your game plan. Your game plan was not to go buy a Lamborghini. Your game plan was to keep all these things in check. So we have all that signed off on. It's called cover your butt, and it's called get the buyer to the finish line. Whereas, Scott, you and I have talked about this on your show many times. A lot of investors and a lot of names you guys know watching this would care less if the buyer cashed out. They just want to go put another buyer in there. And it may be great, but morally and ethically, it stinks. We want these guys to cash out, and we're just passionate about that. And that's what my son works on nonstop. So thank you for the reminders. That was good.
Right. And for those of you that are in Texas, I know you're like, oh, you can't do a lease purchase in Texas. Exactly. There's a little bit different aspect into this. As always, look with your local markets. Lease options are illegal in Texas, but there's other ways you would do the owner finance deal or wraparound mortgage here in Texas to do that. So, but other areas 100%. Completely fine to do. So
yeah, we have a module, Scott, in our QLS course that's just for Texas, and we have one for Canadians. You know what, guys? Frankly, our two ways we buy, I very rarely, even though I started my business doing lease purchase, I very rarely do it now because I want to own.
Yep.
At my stage, and just I know all the benefits accounting wise, I want to own sub two on a financing. And guess what? In Texas, I love it because the attorneys, that's what they do.
Yep.
And it's so easier to deal with the attorneys in Texas than frankly it is in New England because it's not all they do. So good point. This came from an expired listing. This was a divorce. These guys were battling. So this is exactly what I was saying earlier. Who's more prone to do the sub two, right? One was in one state, one was in the other. They weren't talking. Zach had to coordinate all of this, my son-in-law, and it was not amicable. We bought it for the existing mortgage balance, and we added 12. It's like 12 grand and change because the husband said one was in a loan, one was on the deed. And the husband said, I'm not signing anything unless my credit card's paid because they maxed them out rehabbing this. They must have watched like HGTV or something, right? They put all the credit. So we said, we'll make you quarterly payments. I think it was for like 4 quarterly payments or 5. And we got his credit card taken care of. That's all we did. We didn't do cash. We sold it for 4.25. It was on the market with a realtor for 4.25. Why can't they sell it? Because they're fishing in the 18% pond. We're fishing in the 82% pond from the earlier slide. This one performed. This is cool. This is an attorney who went to law school and trashed their credit. These are things that happen, life events, and they think they can't buy until they meet us. 41 grand up front. Payday 2, nice little spread. But the principal pay down wasn't so hot here. You'll see. There's the markup. Principal pay down. They didn't finish the calc, but the end result is the same. It's only 500 something bucks. Not bad, but not like an owner financing deal.
Right.
Payday 3 was 28 grand. There was arrears here. They were battling. We didn't care. We got 41 grand up front, contingent upon a buyer. Then we closed it with our attorney at about 80 grand. And the arrears would have been slightly short. That was, I think, like looks like probably, 2 months, looks like. We could have probably caught this soon if we didn't make it contingent upon a buyer, but we knew they weren't in jeopardy until 3 months. So we're like, okay, if you guys are good with it, we'll try to find this in the next month. But if not, we'll close. And we found a buyer right away.
Nice.
So that was the sub. So that's kind of one of each. I already addressed this. We'll work in your market and your price. I don't care where you are. We'll structure a plan that works. I think at the opening, we said it does work with multi. We did a mailing, Scott. We don't do many mailings because I want students to do what I did. I was broke when I started. So I'm like, I can't mail. So I just got to get on the phones. So we have VAs doing that now for our students. But my daughter Kayla said, hey, let's do a mailing. Let's try to get a multifamily for our portfolio. So we mailed to 4 to 10 unit buildings, owners that were free and clear. That's all we did. It's like 275 pieces. We bought a 4 unit. Said, well, that was cool. We bought it, no money down, principal only payments, exited in 29 months for like 110 grand. So that was cool. We'll do it again. Do a different list. Did about the same amount, same criteria. Bought a 6 unit, no money down. Principal only payments, and again, just improve the NOI and exit it. You don't do rent to own. So you can do this on any asset class, to your point earlier. And then here's the building. It's my exact building I bought. Top left, you'll see November of 18. When Scott and I were together last fall, look at the top right date, we sold it. Bottom right, we'll go bottom left. They bought it for 550. The owner held 515. This is what we broke the mold of putting down because it was our building for our businesses. Bottom right is our profit that month, 750 grand. I had a 20-year deal, sold this in 5. Why? Because it was too good to not sell. But I could have kept this. In fact, he passed away, Scott. I think it was
really?
The guy passed away. I think he knew inside that something was going on. And that's why he insisted on financing. And he also insisted on not getting cashed out early because instead of giving his son, who's an attorney in Chicago, and his wife, who was local here, a building, he got him a cash flow stream. So she got to keep that going until we cashed her out because it was just too good. We had to sell it.
Right.
But my point is you can do this on any asset class, and you should. A lot of our students come in and go, Chris, I want to do a few deals, and then I want you to show me how to go get a building or go get a multi or go get my office building. You did. We'll show you how to do that. So we'll wrap this up in a bow, Scott, and we'll take questions from you because I know you know their mindset. We have a solution. It's real simple. Scott, you haven't seen this yet. I was texting you this. Here's what we did. From the frustration of going, look, I want more people to see us, like Scott's seen us, but I want more of the public to see us behind the green curtain. I want them to meet us. I want them to see us in action here in the office. So here's what we do. It's an apprentice program. You get the QLS course that we've always sold, and it's on our site right now for like $1,500. That's in here. It's free. I'm going to show you what that looks like. It's just a glimpse of the online portal. It's the most robust course, and we just in June finished our 4th iteration. Scott, you know how painful this is. To go through an entire course and update all the mods. We just finished it in June for the 4th time since 16. I'll give you a quick glimpse, then we'll move on, wrap up. Hi, it's Chris Prefontaine, and I want to thank you for your interest in the Quantum Leap System, or QLS, as you'll hear us refer to many times. Commit to doing whatever it takes for however long it takes to create a monster lifestyle, whatever that is for you. And I'm not talking just financially, but a lifestyle you want and deserve and wish to design. So I pulled just the Mod 11 out. You and I have both been in seminars where attorneys will sell their contracts for like 5, 10, 20, 40 grand. We keep putting them in there. We keep tweaking them as we stumble. Look, real estate's real. Stuff happens. So we keep tweaking these and helping out you guys in the field. So that's just one mod in the whole thing. When you go through our course, this is just part of the apprentice program. It's free. When you go through it, you get certified by the Creative Financing Real Estate Association. And then if you should decide to go in a little bit further and join our associate program, you actually get accredited because you're literally working with us nonstop. Some of you will be working directly with me at the higher levels. So it's pretty cool to have that on your website and when you're talking with sellers. The live events coming up that Scott's coming to, and we always hang out together at these, just more networking for him and I. If Scott, someone from your community sees this and can't come and they hear this, we are, like yesterday, decided, okay, if anyone from our relationships, like with you, the VIPs, want to come, we set up a live stream and we'll do it for free for them if they see this and they can't get to the event. So happy to do that. If you know of anyone, just let me know.
Sure.
The Wicked Smart community is quite unique. You get access to, if you want it in the apprentice program, you get access to every weeknight call almost. Now, people go, well, that's a little much. I can't commit. You don't have to. This apprentice program is less than the QLS course used to be when Scott and I used to go ahead and show people it. So it doesn't matter. You could just go to one night a week and you won. You got the course. You can go to just the boot camp that I'll show you in a second. It's here in my office privately for 10 or 15 people. You'd win. Any piece of this wins. If you do it all, then you get a home run. You'll be part of our Slack community. We used to only let associates in. There's channels in there. There's live scripts in there. You ask a question, you get 140 people answering you. Figuratively, I hope you don't have 140, but you'll have the right answer out of that. We have open office hours every Wednesday. It is literally open to you. You come with deals. You come and listen as an education. You come and ask Q&A questions about scripts, anything. We have a weekly mastermind. Scott and I are talking on a Thursday right here on the show. It's tonight, 5 o'clock, and it happens every week. You come on with all of us. The newest thing we did, Scott, that I haven't shared with you yet is part of this for free is the In the Trenches Boot Camp. We bring 15 people plus me, Nick, Zach, and a coach. We are with them elbow to elbow in this conference room. It's not big. And we do it for 2.25 days. This is the look behind the curtain. We do live calls. We structure deals. We get contracts out. You leave with appointments. You leave with deals. So I got a quick video to show you on these guys. It's just them talking. One of them was like a month ago. Whoops, where's the video? Chris is so high tech.
One of my biggest takeaways was the amount of help that I got with the leads this week. I've got 5 appointments going home, and it's been phenomenal. I even jumped to high 6 because they're going to help me get stuff done.
The coaching, the guidance, the insights, it's been very exciting and very motivating. So glad I came.
This is one of the best experiences I have. If you're looking to get involved with a community who genuinely cares and can get you from A to Z to get to your end goal of where you want to be, you have to check this out.
One of my biggest takeaways was Nick helping me on the buyer meeting that I had with my buyer and kind of going detail step by step through the process.
Okay, here's what's interesting. The guy right there said he left here with appointments was the guy I said Nick was next door closing the buyer with. And at the boot camp, they got the deal.
Nice.
That's what we do, guys. So that's 14 grand worth of stuff. We do it for $1,000. We want you to get in behind the curtain. Otherwise, you might go, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And we even did a 2-pay. So you can see the link there for Scott, just for your community new show. smartestatecoach.com/Carson. So we can get a lot of you guys in the community, or you can just scan the top code there. So that's your access. Again, you can do any one of those and it'd be worth it, but certainly you'd go through the course. To make it a no-brainer, I do always do money back. Why would I keep you in the community if you go, Chris, it isn't for me for whatever reason, or I had a life event, or I made a mistake, then you don't have to stick around. We give you money. Makes it a no-brainer. We've done that for years. I don't, Scott, when people say to me, and you've heard this in your community, people say anything about price and investment for themselves. Look at the ROI. Get your mindset off of, even if that was 13 grand full price, just think about the ROI. That's a deal. It's not even a deal for us, but think of it as that way. If you learn how to do one deal in the next 3 years, you get a home run in 3 years. And I promise you won't take it that long. I said at the beginning, if you just do your own house, or you're like that attorney, he's a trust attorney in Arizona. He said, I don't have time, but show me how to do 1 or 2 deals. Or you want to do a business. At any one of those levels is fine with me. You guys can get the books for free and a free strategy call with me. If you're not ready to do the apprentice, just go there and get your free gifts. It's the same link. You'll see all the stuff there, or you can just grab the gifts. Either way is fine. Scott, what are you thinking that I didn't say that I might want to share? Anything to come to mind, or you want me to hit?
No, I would simply say that you've got students all across the country, from you there in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, all the way over to the ex-high school coach in California, closing deals. And how he got started, if I remember correctly, was when he was having his kids run around the track. He was making phone calls to motivate sellers.
Yeah.
If you're motivated and hungry, you'll find the time. Yes, you've got to pick up the phone. Yes, you got to do some marketing. Maybe it's not direct mail, but maybe it's a text blast. Maybe it's an email blast. I'll tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the leads that they provided last year when I was there at the event, expired listings. I pulled it up for my local county here in Texas. I did a text message blast. I did it right there in the morning, text message blast. I had 5 people call me that were motivated to sell. You got to realize, ladies and gentlemen, yes, as Chris said on the beginning, the news tells you not to do anything. Oh, it's not a good time to buy. Interest rates. This is how you get around that 82% pool of people that don't qualify. You're not going to close all 82, but even if you closed 1%, 2%, not only will you help them, it'll make a huge impactful difference to your bottom line with the 3 payday system. And for what you can make on one deal, even if it's a lower average, paying $1,000 or $1,200 because you're doing over the 2-pay system there is a small investment in your future success, where you're not reliant on banks. You go out and find the deals, because there's a lot of people hurting out there that can't buy or can't sell because the traditional way of selling is broke. And this is the way that solves it.
Yeah. And I think you said they might be seeing this in September, Scott. You could, in theory, we have 2 more left this year because we only can do them every 6 weeks or so. In this year, you can come in my office. Where you see me standing, you will be in my office. If we break into 3 groups, you'll be doing calls with me live. You can't get much closer for live training. So there's one in October and there's one in December. We can help you get into those, and that would launch you into 25. If you see this next year, it's okay. I'm just saying that we have these about every 6 weeks, and you could really get after this together for sure.
Awesome. Good stuff as always, Chris. I mean, it's one of the great things. We don't bring a lot of people on here unless we believe in what they do. We know that you've got a good heart. You walk the walk. Don't just talk it. You're not blowing smoke. You're actually creating fire with what you teach, and literally hold people's hands along the way, which is one of the things we love about you. You got grit, definitely, buddy. Got grit, but you got answers.
Love it. Look, I really appreciate you having me on it, and I love hanging out with you, and I hope we can see you in a couple of weeks here in Boston.
Yep, definitely. If not, we'll make sure and get that live stream or something like that out to folks as well as an option too. For cool. Awesome, guys. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Take advantage. We'll put the link in the description there for you in the either video or the podcast. If you're watching or listening to this on the podcast, definitely click on the link below to watch the video. Chris does a great job going through it. Well, I think we may have gone through a little bit fast. It's nice, but go to the video. You can slow it down and look in. You can actually see the numbers on the HUDs.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. We talk fast. That's right. Exactly. Texas, New England, we speak fast. Anyway, so guys, take advantage of it. Get out there. Hopefully we'll see you up in Boston in a couple of weeks. If not, we'll see you another time. But take advantage of this. Is one of the great tools to help you make hay and make some money and close some deals in the crazy market that's it. So go out, take some action, everybody, and we'll see you at the top.